Welcome to another episode of TNT Podcast, Valentine's Day edition. I'm Tokunbo.
And I'm Toyin.
Yes, welcome to the season of love. I just love Valentine's season.
I know.
I mean, can you tell?
Yeah, she got on her red, got on her earrings. Love. It's got a heart shape on the inside.
Yes, I just
She's
love it.
She's a lover's girl.
Yes, I am. I'm definitely, when I was a teenager, one of those people that used to read M&B, Mills and Boons. Do you remember that?
Of course I do.
That series.
I wasn't really into it, but I know tons of people that were
into it. And then I also love Lifetime movies, just feel-good movies that make you feel nice and, warm and fuzzy. And then you're like smiling and in love with love.
I mean, I guess it's nice. I don't know if I'll call myself very romantic. To some extent, yes, I am. But definitely, I think my husband is slightly more romantic than I am. But yeah.
So what does Valentine mean to you now that you're married versus when you were not married?
Wow. So, I mean, I still think Valentine is relevant for couples, obviously. As being married, I think it's so much goes on. And then at this point, you should try to celebrate it in your own special way. Yeah. You don't have to go break the bank or anything, but just do what works for both of you.
Yeah.
So I think it's still very relevant compared to when we were, like young adults or whatever, where, I don't know if you remember those big cars, massive cars. The bigger the better then.
Because I mean, when you're in high school and, everyone is getting
Who's your
Valentine? And you get like little notes from the boys and then you're going home at the end of the day and, the girls carrying their big cards.
And the teddy bears and the chocolates.
And, I mean, that was the thing. That was important.
And having to hide them big cards.
Yeah. No. But everyone wanted that at that time because then you feel like, oh, I have a Valentine. And if you're not walking out of school with your big card, then you didn't get one.
Didn't it used to be anonymous at some point where you wouldn't know who your Valentine was?
When somebody would send you, somebody would be my Valentine.
All of that is fun
and you
now.
get the notes. Yeah, that's cute. I mean, and for me, like you, I agree. I think that a lot of the celebrations, Valentine's Day can be every day, especially when you're married and, everyone is busy. You're busy raising kids. Life is life. And so it's just nice to have that day, just kind of like Mother's Day, Father's Day, just to kind of make it special and acknowledge that person.
Absolutely.
To just show them,
you care.
And
still very,
those
very
things
important.
that they used to say to us during the boyfriend-girlfriend time. It's nice to hear it again, during this time.
And spend time.
Spend time.
Time is important.
I mean, my husband always takes us out and he'll get sometimes not on Valentine's Day because obviously that's a crazy day to go out.
Heck no.
But as you know, my daughter's birthday is February 13th. So she always thinks when we go out for Valentine's Day that we're going out for her birthday celebration. She's always like, oh, it's my birthday celebration. So close by. Yeah. And I'm like, okay, well, it's not really, but okay, So, I can't even remember when it was just he and I that would go out on Valentine's Day. It's always the kids would always tag along because they're just always like, well, where are you going? Like, why aren't we invited? So.
No, but also, the funny thing is I remember with the kids' school too, they would exchange, all the students in the classroom will exchange gifts. Yeah. And it's, just come with they had these little things that you could pick up from the store. It had like a candy and a thing in there, and then they'll get that. So they've been introduced to Valentine's at a very young age too.
Yeah.
It's just platonic, nothing. But and I remember now that as they got older, my son would think, oh, Mom, let me go get some strawberries and this for you and that.
Oh, he's going to be a romantic one.
Yeah,
Lord.
But it's the day that it's just us. So even being married, I think we still try to just, even if we don't do much, I am not the one to want to go to the store, to the restaurants or any of those on that particular day because I don't, the crowd and me, not happening.
But you just do something. Well, we always do something also in our home to just, my husband will get something for the girls. So usually when they go to school and they come back, you'll be on their bed and stuff like that. So they're always excited about that. It's always very sweet. Nice. Yeah.
Yeah. So I have another question too as well. So what's the best relationship advice that someone's ever given you?
I believe years ago, someone told me that, your marriage is like a project that you have to complete. And that, if you see marriage as, this project that you must see to the end. And, you know, again, I know we've spoken about this a lot of times. I think we spoke about this on the last episode about we live in a world today where people are just, it's all about me, it's all about me. And sometimes you have to remember that there's so many factors that has to do with relationship. And sometimes it's not about you being right or you being wrong. And it's about what can I do better myself to make sure that we get to the end, like that we this project succeeds, that I finish successfully. So so she just told me, and this was someone that had been married for many, many, many years. And she said, look, every day that I still discover new things about my husband, and it's just how I choose to react to something, or just me knowing that it's something that I must finish successfully.
That's good.
So
I've never heard that way, but yeah. I mean, I've heard so many things, not necessarily directed towards me per se, but just different advice that comes about just getting married. And they say, I always have to take it back to being Nigerian.
Yeah, of course.
They tell you must be submissive. You know, they come up with all this this different stuff.
But you said good advice.
No, I'm just telling you the line of some of those that have come in and right out.
Exactly, because if you're telling me that marriage is all about me being submissive, then to me that's not good advice.
I think one of the ones that stood out, it's about patience.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
Because obviously me now versus me in my 20s or late 20s or whatnot, it's not the same.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Not just physically, but mentally, how you think, how you are able to assimilate things and react to things is totally different.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
So I think some of those advice just went in and went out, like I said, but some things now make sense.
You know,
now you're like,
You know what? Along that line, when you talk about that, I remember another advice. Somebody told me once that the wisdom of it's actually, I believe it's Proverbs 19:11 that says the wisdom of a man gives him patience. It is to his glory to overlook an offense. And I was just like, what does that mean? At the time, I didn't really get it. But nowadays, I'm getting it that it's not everything that you're going to react to. Exactly.
Absolutely.
And that sometimes with wisdom, you have to overlook certain things. And not necessarily even in just your marriage, in relationship in general. Like you can't react to every single thing. You can't always want to have discussions. Because I used to be the queen of discussions. Like we're going to sit down and we're going to talk about this and we're going to talk about that. And it's just like,
sometimes
you can't talk about there's some things that just has to be.
Even sometimes, I know we talk big about communication, but sometimes you just don't want to talk at that time. And I think it's very important that you understand when to, begin this dialogue or when you should not begin the dialogue that was going to lead into you're going to just basically be circling down the drain.
Yeah. And you know how they always you always hear this thing about don't speak when you're really angry. Even at work, they always say, if somebody annoys you, walk away from your email. Don't send an email at that particular time. I mean, it's definitely a work in progress it's something like when I heard it when I was younger, I was always like, what? Like, I need to get it off my chest. I remember when I used to be like, oh, no, I pride myself as always talking about everything and getting everything off my chest. And
sometimes
now I'm just
sometimes
you just need to shut up. You don't need to get everything off your chest.
Yeah.
And you don't always have to talk everything to death. Like you can just, take a day or two. And I always find out that taking a day or two, it's never how I saw it 2 days ago.
Exactly. That's the main thing right there. Yeah.
And so it's also more important for you to say less and think about things and talk about it later than to say too much and then you can't take it back.
There you go. Yeah. So a lot of
But again, these are things that I've grown into. I was not always thinking like that.
I absolutely agree with you. Like I said, you hear a lot of things. People advise you different ways, different things. Even some of them are not directed towards you, like I said. However, you still hear some, retain some, and then it doesn't make sense right away.
It doesn't make sense right
Until
away.
you kind of get into it. Years goes by. You're growing. You're learning to rise above certain emotions.
Sometimes you have to sink into, some things. It takes a while to just settle in your spirit, right? Somebody will tell you something, or it may be something that you saw years ago. It may, like you said, it may not even be directed at you. It may just be something that you saw in someone else's relationship and that you just kind of picked from. And then now you're like,
Yeah.
I don't want this for myself, or it makes sense. Like you look back and you're like, Because there's been many times when I've looked back and be like, oh yeah, my mom was right about X, Y, Z.
How many times have they been right?
Because some of those things that they used to tell us when we were younger, and we were like,
it didn't sink
now
in
I
there.
look back and I'm like, that woman was right.
Yeah. Okay, so let's move on.
Oh, so how can you keep love alive through the years? I mean, because, coming up on 19, it's how do you keep that?
How do you keep that?
Keep that fire burning?
I think first of all, you really need to understand that you have to know who your partner really is. Know them as they've gotten older, as you've changed, and just understanding what they like.
Yeah.
And vice versa, obviously. And then just coming to know, like for me, simplicity is key for me. Just knowing that I can't tell my husband, oh, let's go shopping.
Yeah.
Like clothes shopping.
It's not his thing.
Even online, he'll look, you pick. But he enjoys going to the grocery store with me. That's all. The kids are like, you guys are going on a grocery store date? He's like,
hey.
We're like, yeah, we're going to Costco. We get to Costco like old folks.
Yeah.
We're like, oh yeah, get that, get this. So little things like that.
Yeah.
Like sometimes when we're just like, oh, I'm tired. Okay, we work out together too.
Yeah.
So we've come to understand the little things that we enjoy together.
Yeah.
Like he's cooking. He really doesn't want people in his way.
Yeah.
And I'm like, it's taking forever.
It's taking forever as you're waiting for him to finish cooking.
Like, hurry up, we're hungry.
This girl is.
If he wants to,
can you hurry the food up?
If he says, oh, I'm making a meal for you guys, and we better have had something. Because he's going to take his precious time. He has music going. He might just pause in between the whole cooking and starts to dance.
Hey,
hello, we're waiting for
you. But at least he's cooking.
But through the years, we've come to realize if that is cooking or my husband, we're going to grab a snack.
Yeah. Because don't.
So I think just knowing your partner, little things that make you guys, mutual things that you enjoy doing, and also communication. You can't not voice that enough.
Yeah.
Assumptions. I do not don't assume anything.
You don't like surprises either.
No surprises, no assumptions, please. So I think those are some of the things that has kind of helped.
Yeah. No, I agree. I think that sometimes, how sometimes someone will give you a gift and then you're like, did you give me this gift or did you give the gift to yourself?
I know what you're saying.
So when you're in a relationship, I think that it is very important to really understand your partner and the gift. And even when you do gifts, it's like, did you put enough thought into that gift? Did you just, you have to do things that it shows them that you actually thought about them. It's just like you're not just buying a gift to buy a gift or doing something that it's not what they like. Like, you say, I'm throwing you a party. But, for me, if I say I'm throwing, my husband is not a party person. So if I'm throwing him a party, am I throwing the party for him or am I throwing it for myself?
Exactly.
Because I know that that's not his thing. He's not like into parties. So it's just more the conscious effort of us knowing who our partner is and trying to do things to show them that we put some kind of thought behind it and that we're not just doing it for doing sake. We're doing it, and also appreciating the person. I think sometimes women tend to think that Valentine's Day is only for them. It's only for the women. There are a lot of women that think that. Well, I mean, but there are a lot of women that think the guy should do something,
go all out,
and the women don't really do anything. And I think that it's both ways. The guys too want to feel loved.
They also want to.
They want to. I mean, it could just be something simple. It could just be like you get them a box of chocolate or something, just something to show that you're also thinking about them the way that they're thinking about you. So it goes both ways.
That would definitely keep stuff going.
Yeah.
And then with the whole surprise and stuff, I usually know what I'm getting because I pick what I want. So there's no, I mean, that was established early in the relationship. Okay,
I think you're a little bit too OCD on that.
No, it was like you tell me, what do you want?
Maybe this Valentine's Day is like, my gift to you is I'm going to let you pick.
No,
I don't want any surprises.
I told you what I want.
Oh my God.
And then there's no need to surprise me.
Well, there's nothing wrong with that really, because I feel like sometimes when I find something that I like, I'll just send it to my husband and say, you don't have to give it to me now, but just so you know, I like this.
This is the things on my bucket list.
Exactly. And then whenever he's thinking about a gift or something, birthday,
it goes down
Mother's
the
Day,
list.
Christmas, there's been many times that he will pick something for me from something that I had sent him a while back, and then I'll be totally shocked. Like,
Wow.
I remember for Christmas, my daughter was like, "Oh, I know what you're getting. I can't tell you." And I'm like, "Wait, what?"
Let's go back to your list.
And she actually said, "I'm surprised he picked it out." And I'm like,
I gave him a list.
Could it be? But then when I got it on Christmas Day, I knew it was something that I had sent him a while back, and he just actually laughed at me when I sent it. Like,
but at least he retained that information, and so that's the whole thing about listening and giving stuff that's relevant to someone based on what they've told you. So mine is not different. I just simply say it, and then it comes to be surprised. So
okay.
So I think we can move on. So what makes a relationship healthy?
I think a little bit of the things that we've been talking about. A relationship is healthy when both partners are thinking about each other. It's not always about my way or the highway. I think there's also something in you being able to admit that you're wrong in a situation. There's sometimes where you might have had an argument about something, and then later in hindsight, looking back, you see, or you maybe get to understand that your partner's point of view. And you can go back and say, "Hey, look, I'm sorry. I thought about it," or "I see what you're saying." There's just never anything wrong in that, in saying, I see it. Like, there are many times where we might be having I don't want to say argument or a disagreement about something. And he will give his point of view. And I'm like, okay, maybe I see your point. I see where you're coming from. Because it's not always about me just being right. I don't need to be right all the time. Now, there was a time where I needed to be right all the time. Again, I have to say, it's just growth in me saying, I don't need to be right all the time. And I want to hear, why do you think it's this way? Why do you think we should do it this way? And then he'll give me his point of view. And I'm like, oh, okay. I get it. Makes sense.
Yeah. So I think a healthy relationship obviously always includes honesty, trust, and communication. You can never, ever communicate.
Which is
too much. You know what I'm saying? So, and I just think effort, never stop.
Never stop. Never take your partner for granted. You know, I mean, for instance, you just said like your partner will make the meal for you and things like that. And, and that's special. That's nice that he takes the time to do that. Obviously you also have the things that you take the time to do, but it's just in appreciating each other in the things that we do and not, taking that person for granted. Like, oh, well, you're just making a meal. Like, but but that's nice that he takes his time to do that. So I agree. Communication. Listening to understand, And
I think whatever it is that actually brought you guys together and was attractive to each other, I don't feel like, you should stop trying to look good.
Oh.
Because I've heard men say like, oh yeah, well, now she's just tying wrapper around.
Oh my, listen.
I'm like tying wrapper.
That is a thing.
It is.
That drives me absolutely up the wall. Because, like, why are you looking like all you do every day is make jollof rice and pounded yam in your kitchen? Like, come on, like, do a little something because...
it is.
Again, and then with today's world where whether you want to see something or not see something, there's so many things you're being bombarded with on social media.
Yeah, that is hitting you left.
So the BBLs are BBLings. They're seeing all sorts coming across them on social media.
Yeah, I think.
So why is it coming home and you have your scarf on and you have your like, come on. Like, listen, I remember years ago, we had gone to a party and, like, I had my wig on. I had everything looking like looking like somebody's daughter. And we're coming back, and after the party, I just like yanked that wig off of my head in the car, and he was mortified. He was like, "Don't do that again." And I'm just like, what do you mean? Like, he was just so annoyed. It's like you just went from Rachel to Ramota in 2 seconds.
She said Ramota. What Ramatas are coming for you?
I know the Ramatas. I'm sorry. They're definitely coming for me. But it was just like, what did you just do?
Oh my goodness.
And so that's the thing. Is like I think sometimes we just take it for granted. Some people the cornrow under your wig
Needs to be done.
Jeez.
Don't keep it
like it's been there for like 2 months. The thing is like
Oh my gosh.
not attractive.
No, honestly, I think, just for you feeling good for yourself.
And that's one thing. You have to feel good for yourself, but you also definitely have to like maintain some kind of, don't go to bed smelling like soup. Come on.
Tokunbo.
Like seriously. Like don't go to bed smelling like your kitchen.
Oh gosh.
Like stop it.
You heard Tokunbo.
Stop it.
Don't do it if you're doing it.
Stop it. And then you're wondering why the guy ain't touching you. Ain't gonna touch you.
Oh my goodness. So listen,
Jeez.
make sure that everything is on fleek.
Like, no, come on. Like, please, don't go to bed.
I'm not saying go to bed and make up.
I'm saying go to bed, get your little... and I'm not even saying that, let's even be real. I'm not saying that you're going to wear lingerie every night, but I'm just saying that if you've been cooking, please take a shower before you go to bed. Don't get into that bed smelling like the kitchen.
Jollof rice.
Smelling like jollof rice and soup and egusi soup. Like, come on now.
Egusi soup.
Yeah, and the guy
goodness.
is not going to be attractive,
Yeah.
And once in a while... women, like we can also do things, once in a while, put on some candles in your room, once in a while. Why sometimes, and I don't know if this is maybe cultural, like why do some women think like the guy has to always lead the romance?
Yeah.
Women can lead room. He can come in your room, you've set the candles, you've kind of the ambiance, the little music is playing, you have your the lotions and
everything,
let him come in and be like, oh shucks, like
I know, right?
What's happening here? Like it doesn't always have to be the guy
Sure.
doing all of those things. Like we can
I'm sure the men
step
would
it up.
definitely
But if there's nothing
appreciate
else that you get from this today, please don't go to bed smelling like jollof rice. I'm begging you. Like, no. It's a no.
Especially Valentine's week.
It's a no.
Yeah. Okay, well, Tokunbo, thank you. That's all I can say.
That's my public service announcement for the week.
Oh my God. What else we have? What do we have?
How can you keep love alive through... Is that what we just talked about?
Yeah.
Okay. No, wait. Okay, I have one. If you could pick a film genre to define your relationship, what would it be?
I wouldn't say romantic.
No, say Titanic.
No, absolutely not. I think, what genre would it be? We would be under action.
Action.
Yeah,
Ooh, I like that. Action.
We'll be under action.
Action.
I don't know. A little bit romantic, yeah, but...
A little bit romantic.
Yeah, the funny thing, this brings me back to when I first got married, and I moved from New York. Let me tell you, and I can't do this again. I can't even believe I'm saying this. But I would make the meal and sit by the stairs and wait for my husband to come back.
Oh, that is so sweet.
So, well, then I can't imagine. And the funny thing was that he reminded me a couple of months ago, and he said, "Do you remember when I would open the door and you'd be the first thing sitting there?"
See, that means like he's looking for you to like do a little bit of something like that now.
Just sit down by the stairs.
No, just maybe a little gesture. Like if he brought it up, he's reminiscing about the good old days, so to speak.
No way, that's not happening again. That was back then. So I think I would be a lot of action because we're always like
on the go,
different things. The kids, activities.
Yeah.
I remember when we used to go running up the hill. So I think that's kind of like us.
Yeah.
That's the real authentic us that we really enjoy doing. We like doing activities together. So
yeah, I like it. I would say a little bit of action, a little bit of comedy. Like we're always laughing. Sure. And I think that is just nice. Like, he will always say things that would just make, and he's not actually trying to be funny. It's just that it ends up being so funny. And so I think that is, maybe the most special thing. Like, we're friends and we definitely laugh a lot. So a little bit of that, a little bit of romance. I mean, I would like for him to turn up the romance a little bit more. I'm always reminding him. And he actually told me like, well, I've paid my dues for, I don't need to do any like Valentine's Days for boyfriends. I'm like, so somebody told you a lie. Valentine's Day. Boyfriend. He was like, I've paid my dues. I'm like, no, you haven't. You're like, no. Like, we need you to keep.
It's an eternal contract.
It is, yeah. So, but lots of laughter, so I would say comedy, action, not so much drama anymore now. In the beginning days, I would say it was heavy on the drama. But with maturity, really not much drama.
Yeah, I think I'll definitely add comedy to ours. And I think that it's incorporated with the kids because my daughter's a clown of her own. So she always kind of brings all kind of. We're going to miss her when she goes to college.
I mean, yeah. Oh.
So with that, there's this one quote that we have from, I think it's Michael Bassey Johnson, where he says, true love is not a hide and seek game. In true love, both lovers seek each other. And I think that's part of everything we've been saying today is it has to come from both
it's not
parties.
It can't be one-sided. You can't just fold your arm and expect your partner to do everything. Meet them halfway. And also, we've spoken to the women. Let's speak to the guys too, Your wife is slaving away in the kitchen and you're just putting your feet up, watching TV, doing everything, and then sitting there looking for your food. I mean, come on, do something. Help, help. She cooked, maybe clean up, maybe tell her the food tastes good, maybe do something to not take her for granted this week of Valentine's Day.
Yeah. Okay. When you said tell her the food tastes good.
Yeah.
I remember something on social media where this one lady had cooked and it was so salty. But the guy was like, and she knew it was salty. She was just testing him out. He tasted it and he was like, it's good. Just like, are you sure? He couldn't tell her otherwise.
That's so sweet.
I know, right?
Yeah. So once in a while, because sometimes I think men, they don't realize how much work the women are putting in the kitchen. And then sometimes you finish making all the food and they just eat it and keep walking. Like, can you just say the food tastes good? Tell her the food tastes good. If it doesn't tell you the food tastes good, then you don't need to take a shower. Go to bed and
smelling like jollof rice.
That's okay.
That's the punishment.
That's punishment for the food, for you not saying that the food tastes good.
Okay, so, we do have a few questions that we also want you to let us know. So do you still celebrate Valentine's Day?
Yes. Comment and let us know.
If you're still celebrating Valentine, what you really like about Valentine's. And of course, do you go out or do you just choose not to go out? Also, are you incorporating your Valentine celebration with your children?
Yeah. Do you go out with the children or do you go out by yourself and forget the children? I'm of the camp, forget the children and go out. But he's not, so we always have to take them with us on Valentine's Day.
Well, I'm not
I would
out.
Definitely leave those kids at home. Like,
I'm sure you would.
I would leave them in a heartbeat at home.
I mean, that's the only real day that you're really celebrating you guys together.
Yeah, but they always tag along, so I'm with you. If you want to leave them at home, leave them at home. I'm with you.
So, on that note, I want to say thank you for joining us.
Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.